Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? This is Easy Things to Draw, and this is a critique corner segment. And not just the normal one, this is a critique corner extravaganza, meaning I'm going to critique a bunch in a row, like rapid fire. Probably like 20 or something I have here. I forget how many I have. So let me tell you why I'm doing this and kind of like the timeline and the frame of this segment. This is something I did like every couple of weeks, but I haven't done it in a mic kind of died on me. So I couldn't afford another one for a while. And now I got one. And so the segment, let me tell you what it's all about. The segment is all about you guys out there. You guys send me some drawings that you want critiqued, and I'll give you my honest critique. You know, I don't know like every single thing about art, but I know a pretty good amount. You know, I know enough to actually go through it and you know, give advice that I can. You know, or like nitpick at something if it's already you know. All right. And that's pretty much it. Normally I do it with another person, but I'm just going to do these rapid fire on my own. Please, if you want anything critiqued by me, go and send it to omegaman20@gmail.com. It's on the screen there. I might be changing that soon. I might be changing that if I do, it'll be like some little notification on the screen right now. And it'll say, like, instead, send it to Twitter, you know, whatever. But, you know, like, I haven't really got that going. I got the Twitter, but, you know, we'll see. I haven't really pushed it for this yet. So anyways, some of these go back 6 months. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I'm very sorry for people here. Very, very sorry. And whole folder. I forgot what I critiqued and what I didn't. So if I repeat critique something, I apologize. But I just kind of forget. I can't go through it. You know, they're all in the same folder. You know, just it'd be funny, you know, if I critique it like a different way or something. So let's start on the first one right here, rapid fire. Hold on. Wait, how do I do that? Let me go to the top. Tupac, and it's of Aaron James. I think Aaron is the guy that sent it to me. Aaron James, I believe. I'm not sure exactly because I labeled these. I usually label them the person and then like the subject matter, you know. So let me kind of go in here, get this thing out the way. Make a little bit of layer on this. So this one's really, really, really good. Amazingly good. So this one is going to be more of like a nitpick. You know what I mean? If I just had to nitpick. One thing would be I don't like the way it's cropped at the top, and that's more about ending the picture attractively. You know what I mean? I wouldn't vignette it here at the, I believe that's, what is that, the scarf, I think, on his head, or do-rag, one of those. I wouldn't do that there because he kind of looks like, to me, like if I didn't know any better, like if I don't know anything about this subject matter at all, I'd be like, this is like, I don't know, like is that his hair? What is that? You know, I wouldn't really know what it was, but since I know it's Tupac, it's a little different, you know. But I would kind of vignette it, maybe throw a little scarf in the back, and I'm gonna do this very crudely and quickly, by the way, so don't take this as, you know, like, oh, what's that? You know, I would actually even throw his ear in there as well, you know, to make it look like the full face. I'm not sure why the ear is in there. I wonder maybe if you. And I have no idea, but I do this. Sometimes I avoid drawing the ears because I'm not good at it or something like that, or I avoid drawing something. I mean, I'm okay. I'm good at drawing ears. I'm all right. I'm just saying some people kind of avoid it because they just don't like the way it looks or whatever. Maybe that's the case. I would definitely throw his ear in there, and I'm not sure. This ear might come around a little bit. You know, he is turned slightly this way. Let me throw a different color on here. Also, I would line up his eyes. Even though, like in the picture, he might have one eye, like this eye is higher than that other eye. Let me see. Do something here. See, copy, paste. And then let me try moving this around. There we go. Well, it'll actually be more down here, really. And then let me change the brush I have to this soft brush. Oopsie daisy. Let me change the brush settings really quick here. All right. You know, but before that, it was you know, way up there. Do you see how that's kind of a little bit offline? You know what I mean? Considering this, let's see, block. Considering that this the center line of his head is, I would say, about here. Let me change my brush again. Sorry. The center line of his head is about yay to here. It's kind of angled in this way. See how that's angled? And normally it's a right angle. The eyes tend to be right angles. Oops. Let me take this away real quick. See how that doesn't, see, like, imagine it's a right angle. That's kind of, it's a little, this one's a little high. You know what I mean? And that's kind of why I ended up moving. You know what I mean? I moved the eye down. That's about it for this one. That's a really quick critique, but great job overall. Awesome. Really, really awesome overall. Again, I'm just nitpicking here, you know? That's it for that one. Thing here. AJ, another one. This is like a someone sitting on a, I believe, a bench, right? And a lot of these are the first impressions, by the way, because this is the first time I've actually either seen these full size. I think a lot of these I haven't seen these full size, you know? So that's kind of cool. Let me take a quick. So I haven't really formulated an opinion yet till I see it. So you're kind of seeing me formulate my opinion right now. This is really awesome, actually. It reads well. You know what I mean? Everything about it. I mean, maybe some more folds up in this area, like, you know, kind of where it's crunching down. You know what I mean? Maybe some more folds right here. You got to understand when it's set down, like it's a skirt, right? So it's riding up a little bit. She's pulling it up, and then it's sitting down on this flat surface. You would think there'd be a little more, maybe a little, but see, I'm nitpicking like crazy, right? I'm not even, it's fine as is, honestly. It really is fine as is. I can't think of a single thing. The only thing I can think about is maybe, I think her feet are very faint down here. I can't tell if it's because of the picture, but I would draw her feet so it's just a full, complete image. Otherwise, it's kind of like, you know, like she's got no legs or something like that. That's by AJ Mason. Really good. Really, really good. I'm assuming you drew this from a picture. That's it. Honestly, I don't really know what to say about this one. Next. Oops, I keep going back to that. I think have I gone over this one? I might have critiqued this one already. I'm not sure. If I critiqued this one before, I apologize. I'm going to go over really quick. Can't really think of a single thing. This is. I mean, I can think of a couple things. Sorry. This is gonna be all about values right now because your structure is perfect. I think pretty perfect. It's pretty dead on. Like everything is where it should be structurally. Maybe the hair looks a little bit like a wig up there. And again, it's kind of hard because of the photo that you sent me. The hair might be a little wiggy. You know what I mean? Maybe a little bit wiggish. I would kind of like try to figure out. Possibly, and again, it's the photo. It's a little light in the photo, but I'll throw a little bit more darkness up on where the scalp connects to the head. Just like more value there, where it kind of bunches up. It kind of wraps a little bit more, and these are all like minute things, very minute. See how it kind of looks like this bald spot up there? I feel like if you throw something there, you throw that existing hair down a little bit, it'd be a little bit better. His hairline's a little, yeah. It doesn't look like it attaches to his head too much. So try to make that happen somewhere in some areas. Yeah, but mostly I'm seeing it in the hair, really. Like I said, structural wise, that's about it. In terms of value, I can't really tell the value because again, it's a photograph. It depends on the image itself. But I would say just looking at this, make this eye right here a little bit darker. Just everything on this side is not as dark as this side, you know. And again, that might be because of the photo. I'm not totally sure. Yeah, I dig it. That's really all I can say. Just his hairline. Let's get rid of that. Go to the next one. Keep going back to that. This is going to be a theme, I guess. This is an awesome Joker. Heath Ledger Joker. Let me see. It's kind of hard to pick anything out of this one. Let me see. If I was to think of anything, this is going to be... now we're dealing with shadow. What's wrong with your structure? Maybe, again, very similar problem right here. His hair is kind of not looking like it's attaching to the skull. Some areas. Right here it does. So take some of that and put it over here. Maybe pull out some smaller filaments, like some smaller lines that look like they're attaching. Otherwise than that, structurally, I can't really think of anything. If we want to talk about value, let's talk about value really fast. With this, I do have a few things to say on value. His face is painted white, right? Pretty much whitish. I would put more value on the nose. Oops, that thing is, let me see. Pull that back here. I'll put a little bit more value on the nose because I think the nose is being a little bit blown out, even despite he has a white face. I'll still throw a little bit to show the forms of the nose. Like, I mean, it's subtle. Like, just subtle stuff, you know? And again, you could say something like, well, it wasn't in the image, you know what I mean? But we're not trying to draw the image, you know? We're trying to, you know, define, you know, we're using the image as a way for us to interpret it, you know what I mean? We're interpreting that image differently than a photograph would, you know? So it's a little bit different. And again, this could be just opinion as well. This is just my personal opinion. I would just put more value on the nose. Maybe not even that much. I might have thrown too much on there. You know? Because a lot of value tends to go to the nose, regardless of what color it overall is. And I would probably draw this end of the nostril right here too. But see how subtle that is? It's really subtle stuff. Really, really subtle, you know? Without it, it's like that. With it, you know what I mean? You can even lighten it up a little bit. But that's pretty much all I have to say on this piece. So next. I might have critiqued this. I'm not totally sure. This looks very familiar. Okay, right now I'm going to go over two things. One, first of all, great drawing. Deadpool's awesome. Right here, his not his eye, into his sword sticking out his back. That's a solid sword, right? So it kind of looks a little wiggly. It looks more like snake. What do you call that? Looks like reptile scales or something, you know? Which is fine, but you want to contain that shape with something a little bit steady on the outside of it. And I would definitely just put a hard edge on the outside of this. You know what I mean? And I would actually, if you have to, use a ruler, but if, you know, you don't really need to. Just gonna pull a hard line. You know, pull a hard line around that. Remember, this is a structured thing. You know? That thing it's mechanical. It's you know, made in a factory somewhere. Actually, I don't know his origin of his swords, but really, when you do kind of structural hard items like that, artificial items, you want to pull those lines straight. Just pull them in one stroke too, if you can. Pull it down. Some things I have issues with the hand. Think about the structure of the hand itself. Let me see. B. Okay, there. Let me do this. So the fingers, these middle fingers, I have no issue with at all. They're looking great. And like I said, this is just nitpicking, really. It's not exactly. I would say something feels a little understructured with these. I would say, when you look at the finger, think of the segments, especially when it's coming out at you. You know what I mean? I think this could connect a little bit more. You know what I mean? Right now, it's not quite connecting. It looks like it's like a balloon with like a, I don't know, like a hot dog stuck in it. You know, like that. I don't like that sweep. So I would say make the sweep more like that. Make it connect in a little bit more. And remember these. You know, kind of think about those pads as you're drawing them. That helps you a lot when you do that, you know? Think about the segments of the finger. And then there's a little fold at the bottom there. And then you have that palm as well. Like I said, a lot of that is just kind of structured based. Pull the little line down the middle, because if you look at the palms, the palm itself, let me go over the hand really fast from the front. The hand generally, let's say if someone's going to give you a high five. You have you have the thumb out there, and you have the fingers all up here. The longest finger is the middle finger. That's the longest one, and the knuckles tend to follow that as well. It looks like a little house or something, like the knuckle line. Supposed to be giving us high five, so we're looking at the palm of the hand right now, but the knuckle line tends to be like that. Not always. But that's just the way you can draw it, and easy. You know, you bunch the three fingers. See, 1, 2. These three go kind of down that side right there, down that hill, and then this one goes on its own. And you have a couple of fat pads in your hand. There's just two big ones. If this guy's giving you, there's one big one here and one big one here. I think this one runs along the side. You don't have to remember the exact shape, but just kind of remember that split in the two at the bottom, and that's what I'm indicating over here. You know what I mean? Is this fatty pad. And there's I believe there's one more right here with a bone. Mostly bone. You know, every finger kind of has a small one, but mostly this one for the index finger really stands out when you graph stuff. So that's what I'm thinking of over here as well. So those two fat pads, remember that. Anyways, that's pretty much it. The rest of it's pretty dang good. It's my only issue was a sword in the hand. I mean, that's just a style thing. Anyways, next. Oof, we're definitely not gonna get through all these today, but I'll try this. This is interesting. Wow, I don't think I've ever seen this. I saved it, but I don't remember. This is from Carlos. Oh yeah, sorry. Don't mention the line paper. He told me not to mention that, so I just mentioned it. Sorry, I'm sorry. Let's go over this. Let me change the value of this. Let me auto-correct the color a little bit. Auto tone. Yeah, just so I can see it better. Don't worry, I won't forget the line art. Generally good anatomy. It looks like you definitely studied anatomy. I feel that. You know, I feel like you probably studied it. Generally, it's pretty good. A couple of things that stand out to me immediately, right? Number one would be, I think his head. If you look at his head, it kind of flares a little bit. You know what I mean? That's not an issue. It's more of a style thing. You know what I mean? I don't like the way he's got kind of a big upper skull as opposed to his jaw. That's just again total opinion. Total opinion. The Joker's a bomb there. I don't know if this picture was taken at an angle or I'm not really sure if it was taken at an angle, to be honest. Joker's head feels kind of squished, if you know what I'm saying. It feels a little crunchy. Let me see if I can try to expand that a little bit. And I think it's because you were trying to fit his head in there. Or, you know, you're trying to make it seem like he's looking over his shoulder, but you wanted to get all that information in, you know? And in doing so, that kind of, you know, it kind of made it look a little squished. Maybe something like that. Maybe something like that, you know what I mean? Like he's looking right around there. So that would mean by, like, and again, I don't know if that's, see how that difference is between that and that? I don't know if it's because you took a picture of an angle or not or what. And then Batman's musculature, I think his pecs are too big right here. Let's see. Let me get the harder line here. I think his pecs are a little too big. Remember they pull in over here. Try to even them out a little bit. Also, his upper chest is a little too large. You know what I mean? There's kind of a cut line at the top that kind of digs into the bone here. And that bone, I forget what that's called. It's like a little shelf on top of your shoulder. I cannot remember that. Bicep's pretty good. I would say make sure that bicep ties in. There's a dip right here that yours doesn't have. I know he has his hands behind his back, but you can still put that little dip. And I think that's because you don't have the brachioradialis. I would Google that if you can. The brachioradialis is a muscle that kind of comes around from the kind of between the bicep tricep area, between the brachialis. I think it's the brachialis is up here somewhere, and it starts up behind, kind of around behind the bicep, and it goes down along the arm, and it's a very, very common muscle, and it's this one right here. I don't know if you can see that. They call it brachioradialis. So I would Google that, brachioradialis, and it's once you learn that, I mean, I'm sure you probably already know it. You just kind of forgot it here, but that pit of the same thing here. See, it needs to have more of a pit at the bottom of the bicep. You know, and the same thing. You're kind of shortcutting him on that. I don't know if you used reference. I think that might be why. You know, we're talking about like superhero type. You know, like they have huge brachioradialis. In real life, you know, people don't really have that unless you're like a bodybuilder or something. I mean they have it, but they don't have it like that hardcore unless you're a bodybuilder. Right, the abs look pretty good. I would say, like, remember that's the rib cage is right here. There's a solar plexus, which I believe is in the pit right there. But remember that rib cage kind of ends things a little bit. The abs won't go that high. They kind of do go on top of them, but you know, it's up to you whether you want to do it or not. I don't personally like the look. And remember the serratus muscles here. Look up that as well and try to practice those serratus muscles. They're very, very superhero muscles, you know, serratus. You don't see a whole lot of people with those. And then right here, even you know, it doesn't have to totally be flat. The love handle area, just give it a little bit of girth, you know, because most people do have a little bit of girth no matter what. And then the belt itself, if you look at it, let me zoom in. Sorry about that, the pixelation quality. If you zoom in on the belt, it's kind of like cutting him off. You see how this is the belt and this is his side. It's a little too... It looks like his belt's painted on. And I would say give the belt an actual thickness to it. You know what I mean? So it would actually come out like over here. You know what I mean? It's actually this 3D item. It's this item because his belt is, you know, relatively thick. It has a thickness to it. And don't make it look like it's painted on, in other words. And I think his left leg right here is a little too big, his left leg. I'll pull that in a little bit. Or pull this one out. Some's making it look big. I don't know if it's a shadow or what. But try to even it out. Pretty much it. The rest, he did a really good job, man. This hand's a little bit small. But again, I'm nitpicking like crazy. All these are good, you know, the fact that, you know, everybody's sending me good stuff. So, yeah, really cool. I love the creativity. I actually really like the way the Joker looks a lot, actually. You know what I mean? That kind of style. All right, that's about it for this one. Spent enough time on that one. Let's see. Let's go to the top. Okay, Carlos. I believe it's the same guy, right? Man of Steel. All right, let's go over them really quick. Yeah, you have some anatomy issues in the leg. I think what's going on is either you're just learning anatomy or you're looking at charts and throwing them right on there, which is fine, totally fine. That's how you learn it. Man of Steel. Man, he's really a rugged dude over here, you know. Let me auto-correct the color again. I'll do this really quick because it's the same person. Oops. Let me see. Let's see. Auto-tone. All right, his leg right here, like the first most obvious thing. This leg is huge compared to this other leg. Way too big. Way too big. Change that up. You got to change that up. Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. Right here. Thin that thing out. Thin that out. You know what I mean? And right here you got the teardrop shapes. I think they're called the vastus internus. People learn it as different things. I think I learned the Latin names, so it might not be the exact same thing. There's the, let me see. There's the vastus lateralis outside. I would say his knee would turn a little bit more like so. I think his leg is also a little bit long, actually. But yeah, you always have this teardrop shape. Soccer players have that. That's the vastus internus. At least that's the one I remember the most. You have the quad, really, the top of the quad. You don't have to draw that line so thick. Some guys love doing that in comics, but you don't have to. But just kind of, you know, just tone it down a little bit. Goes in with one sweep. It should kind of have like a hip right there, his hip bone, and then you have that. Did that make sense? Let me do that again. So don't do that. You should do more of a... He has his hip and then his leg. You know what I mean? So instead of that would be his... Right there. You know what I mean? You got his hip and then his leg comes out of that. Same thing with this side. He's got the same issue. Muscles are all over the place over here. You can be careful on that. Yeah, muscles are all over the place. And you're shortchanging him actually on that teardrop muscle on this side. And it doesn't quite burst that much to the bottom unless you're straight up bodybuilder, which I know they draw these characters like. This outer, I don't know what you call it, outer lateralis? I forgot. Medial lateralis, the outside of the leg. Because before you had that thing like hanging, you know what I mean? You had that thing like giant, you know, which again, some guys like drawing, but I personally don't like that aesthetic. You know, I like having it kind of taper down toward the end. And again, he has a hip. Same thing goes for the, remember that rib cage, okay? We're going to move up. His rib cage kind of goes here, and then he goes into his side. You know what I mean? Think of that rib cage and then his side. Because a second ago it was just like one big, like it looked like a flat sheet. You know. One more thing, the way his pec. Look up how his pec kind of goes into his deltoid. See the deltoid over here? The pec usually ties into that, and then there's the bicep over here. And then you have the rest of the arm. And this is a little bit scrunched, I think, because I'm trying to work within the proportions that you gave me here. I would say even that deltoid might be too big, to be honest. And you would actually see the rest of the arm there. You know, that one has some working out to do. That's if I'm working within the borders. Make the whole arm bigger a little bit. Same thing goes for the other side. think about where those it's that front deltoid, the rear deltoid, and then that medial deltoid, which is the medium one in the middle. It's made up of like 3 parts. So if you look at the deltoid from the side, meaning the top shoulder, let's say there's a shoulder and you're standing sideways, right? There's the medial part of the deltoid, which is the middle. And then you have the front, like let's say the front, this one. And then you have the rear deltoid, which goes into the scapula, you know? So, well, goes kind of near the scapula. So anyways, that's about it on this one. I've spent a lot of time, you know. But yeah, that's about it. The next one. Woo, I'm getting tired already. I don't care. I'm going to do a bunch of these. American History X. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Let's see. Cohen. Let me see. Really good. Clearly from that movie American History X. It's Edward Norton's character. Proportions are great. Really great. Really great proportions. I dig it a lot, man. His eyes are a little... The only thing I have an issue with is probably his eyes. His eyes, I would say throw some information into his ear. You know what I mean? Go over ear anatomy. I have an ear anatomy video. Just look up like ear anatomy or something, or ears. Look up ears, how to draw ears, and it should be something. Just throw a little something. Let's draw like think of a line over here, and even though it's in shadow, and like I said, even if the picture doesn't have it, put it in there. You know, put it in there because you know somebody's gonna be like, "What's up with that ear?" You know, or "What's up with that?" And you're gonna be like, "Well, it wasn't in the photo." That's always the excuse, right? But don't do that. You know, just put it in. Because you know, you should know. I mean, that's one of those goals, though. You should know the ear, you know? Even though it's within the shadow, it should be in there. So I'm just going to place it in a little bit. I forget if he had hair, right? He was totally bald, wasn't he? I think he was totally bald. I would draw like maybe I would make this read a little bit more. Maybe draw like a darker line in there to separate his head from his head from his hand. Anyways, also his eyes are a little wiggy. This eye right here is a little bit, the pupil is a little big. You know what I mean? Compared to this one. Whoops. Compared to this one. So I would, I'd have to see the picture, honestly, the one it was based off of, but I would either make one bigger or one smaller. You know what I mean? Maybe make that one bigger. And I would try to, not always, connect the eyebrow to the brow here. Sometimes it gives it a better look, although it's starting to look kind of like evilly. I guess he was evil. I like to do that. Always connect it with like a soft value, you know? I don't have the computer. Sorry for the pixelation, guys. Again, I'm really sorry. That's pretty much it. Really good, man. Really, really good. I dig this a lot, dude. Next. That's going to keep popping up. It'll keep reminding you guys. Also, Cohen, Brad Pitt. What is this? Is this Brad Pitt in Fight Club? Or, I'm not sure what movie this is. Okay, structure, great. I would say something's up with his hairline, right? Unless it's just his hairdo. The hairline in the back of the head tends to have some hair over yonder. Hopefully you can see me. If you can't see my little icon, let me know, guys. Sorry about that. Did some hair there a little bit. I think I might be going down too low. I'm not sure what that is. Something looks a little weird proportionally. I'm not sure what that is. Also, the front of his face, you can do that. Like I do like that. I like putting some sort of barrier between him and the background. You know what I mean? Even if it's not in the picture again. You know what I mean? Maybe throw like a light value. Maybe light, super light value in the front somewhere to kind of just separate him from the back. And again, that's a decision thing. It's just a style thing. You know what I mean? Throw some more value maybe in sunglasses on the other side as well to kind of even out the face. It looks a little odd. I think it looks better with over there. Same thing with a cigarette. You know, it's kind of going into nothing. It might not be your focus. It might not be your style, but that's, you know, just my opinion. Same thing with the shoulder. That's pretty much it. The only advice I have. If you like that look, then, and, you know, you dig it, then that's fine, man. Totally your decision. You know, I don't know. This thing in his back looks kind of weird. It looks like, is that a muscle on his back? It looks kind of like he's sitting on a second chair or a chair. So watch that out. Because a lot of this will be thrown into shadow, you know. Again, picture-wise. You know, if you're taking a photo, there could be reflected light from anything, right? It'll make it look wacky. All right. That's pretty much all I have to say on this image. Next one. Cohen, man, you sent me a bunch of stuff, dude. I don't think I can go through all your stuff. Maybe I'll go through another episode. But you just have a lot of stuff, man. Awesome car. I got nothing to say about this car. I don't know how to draw cars. Well, I know how to draw cars, but not enough to critique everything about them. This is good. This is a drawing. Let me think. I don't think I have anything to say on this, dude. Really, really amazing stuff. Maybe the perspective, and this is crazy nitpicking, right? I'm gonna nitpick like, because I got nothing else to say. But I was gonna say maybe the perspective on this plate could be a little bit better, like by a smudge. You know what I mean? Maybe because it looks kind of tiny compared to the car. Then again, some of those things are tiny. Honestly, I got nothing to say about this. Really good job, dude. Really amazing. So that saved time, right? Cohen, man. All right, this is simple. Since his lips, I'll do it. And this, you can always look at like how to draw lips. Sure. Really good. I think you like that style where it fades out, right? You like that style where it fades out. I'm different. I'm more heavy-handed. You know what I mean? I like where stuff really is like perfectly defined, which that's just a style thing. For me personally, I would darken this a tiny bit more, maybe. I would actually throw more of a coarse shadow. Okay, this is a definite style thing, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Let me get a different brush here. Whoops. I would throw a little bit more, because this is obviously female lips, I'm assuming. I would throw a little bit more of a coarse shadow in here, because this is obviously the highlight over there. The highlight is obviously in the lower lip. I would throw this a little bit more into shadow. You know what I mean? Just the whole thing itself, to make it look really like she has lipstick, you know? Again, I'm just going this over like, not the same medium, it's digital. I'm just kind of like telling you the concept and trying to minorly show it to you. But I would definitely just make the overall lips darker to make them look more feminine. And that might be, again, the photo. I'm not sure. And again, I would say make them darker and it'll make that highlight pop way more. You know what I mean? That's all I have to say about that one. Did I critique this already? Is this Cohen again? Man, you sent me a lot of stuff. Dude, I think I critiqued this already. If I didn't, let me know. But I could have swore I did, okay? So I'm going to move on. Let's see. I definitely critiqued that. Pretty sure. Let's see. Cohen, you sent me a lot of stuff. Let's see this. I see nothing. Oh, yeah, this is an interesting one. Somebody sent me. This is from, I think, Daniel. I'm curious how you got these, man, because like this is the exact cover of something else. I'm curious, did you trace it, or did you just cut these guys out, or did you just draw them as an exercise? But I really don't know how you did this, and I think I might have critiqued this before, haven't I? I think I might have. Basically, the buildings, and I'm going to say I think if I did critique this before, forgive me. But I really only have one criticism, and that's the building behind them. It is an afterthought. You have to kind of take the buildings behind them as seriously as you do the characters themselves. Do you know what I mean? It's tough, right, when you don't like drawing buildings, For example, the perspective's a little whack on the building. You know what I mean? It should be a little bit smaller toward the top. I would say it should be more like... One second. Let me see. Let me get a different brush here. I gotta go back and forth between hard and the soft brush a lot. So I would say it would be more like, let's see, sure. You would get, because this is 3D, this is a 3-point perspective. You're looking up at them, you know what I mean? It's 2D, and it's also, you're looking up. But not only that, they're looking up into their, faces right there. So it would be more like that. It would be smaller toward the top. It would be getting smaller as it rises up. So that's what I mean by the perspective would be a little bit off. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. Really think about the building. Don't treat that like an afterthought. That's a big deal. All right, next. Let's see this. That's amazing. I don't know what that is. It's amazing. Is that off a movie or something? I don't even know what to say about that, to be honest. It's really good drawing, good values, nice color. I know it's kind of lost in the photo a bit. I don't know what to say about that. Alrighty, that one's interesting, very interesting. Really good drawing. I don't really know how you can improve on this, except for her boob looks a little detached. This boob over here. If you look at that one, 1 second. Let me get another layer. TTs, I'm sorry. That boob looks a little weird because of this running right into it. That might have been in the, I don't know if you do this from a CG model or something, but I think it's this line right here. This line that you have, it's making it look really strange. Let me auto color. This line, see, you can even see it more now. This line makes it look like she's got a detached boob or something. I would just kind of like soften that out. You know what I mean? And if you really want, just kind of slightly make it pass, you know? Like if that thing's kind of in the way of it, and it's supposed to be like a pinup style. Same thing a little bit with her arm. Just be careful with that. I would make them kind of seem more connected, because right now it just seems like it's chopping off her boob. Honestly, that's all I have to say about this. Really good. Really, really good. Really good study. I'm assuming it's a study. Oh, man, this is sick. I like that. So let me correct the color a little bit because of the photo auto. Yeah, this is sick, man. Is this Daredevil in your style? This is so great. I don't know if this is a study or it's just your style, but this is really good if this is your style. If this is just you, man, drawing your thing. This is, yeah, you really found a voice here. I got very little to say about this. Okay, I do have some technical things like I always do. Let me look at it, think for a moment. Okay, I got a couple of technical things. One, the eyes are not the same size. Very nitpicky, though. It's only like a smudge. Like a smudge different. Like, I mean like a smudge. Like, very, very little. You know what I mean? This reminds me of Steve Silver's drawing, if you know who that is. I'm not sure you know who that is. He did, like, stuff like Kim Possible and stuff like that. Anyways, I would change the eyes just a tiny fraction. What's bugging me here is this arm. Let me see this. Hard brush. Did I get the hard brush already? This arm is bothering me a lot. I don't know why. It's big. I think it's because it's making the arm look bigger than it actually is on the other side. You know what I mean? And I think that's just unintentional, right? Where would that end? It would probably end about here, but then you'd have a tangent. You don't want to have that. Probably error on the tangent, you know, just to kind of make it make a little bit more sense. Because his shoulder would be about that big, you know, if it was turned like that. Or you can make this shoulder, bigger. I would actually kind of err on making this shoulder bigger. Let me see what happens if I make it, oopsie. Let me see what happens if I make it bigger. Say, sure. Oops. If I make that shoulder bigger, what would happen? Sure. So I love digital. Not too big. You know, maybe something like that. That would make a little bit more sense. I wouldn't even have to put that line over there. See, it looks kind of small for the whole arm. I think making that bigger shoulder fixes thing. Like really, really helps it a lot. You know. If you want more information, I would maybe put it in the chest a little bit. Hold on, come on. If you want more information, I'd maybe throw something in the chest, like on this side. You know what I mean? Like throw that pec. Just a little bit, you know, not enough to like obscure the DD, you know? Maybe throw a little indication of the lowerest abs, you know, like they're slowly dissipating in the shadow. Gonna make this a little tie-in more. Just by fixing the side of the stomach. Just a little bit. Unless it's just that could just be a style thing, you know? You leave that totally out, like, uncolored. But yeah, man, this is sick. This is really awesome. I think you're on your way, dude. Really, really good stuff. Eric, right? All right. Ian, let me move this around. I gotta, let me change the, let's see. Flip. Counterclockwise. Okay, cool. It's a boat. Looks like a beached ship, right? Nice. Really sick, man. I don't know a lot about drawing boats. I know a decent amount lately because I've been studying boats. I would say just overall, throw more information in there. I think that it's lacking in information. Do you know what I mean? I think it needs a little more structure to the whole thing. You know what I mean? Oops. See how this section looks kind of like an abstract painting or something? You just look at that on its own. It just looks like it looks like a sandcastle boat, right? It doesn't look structured out. It needs to look like it was a really like a beach, unless it's supposed to be a sandcastle thing. For all I know, could be, but I don't think so. I think what you're trying to do is this actual ship, shipwrecked ship. I would really get in there, look at reference of a real boat, and I'm sure you might have done that, and really find the structure to it. You know what I mean? And I know in the beginning it's a hassle to do that, but you know what? You're gonna like it. You're gonna learn to really like these little intricacies. You know what I mean? These little. What I'm talking about. How would we structure this out? This boat is still a structure, just like human body, just like the human body. You know what I mean? This is obviously a structure, and the perspective I see a little bit off. If I was to kind of say what this ship is made up of, it's made up of different shapes, right? I see a box over here and more of like that ship, obviously that boat shape over here, that kind of shoe shape. You know what I mean? But based on that shoe shape, because you can see this the far side over here, based on that, this box up here, let me do it in a different color so I get the point across. This box would probably go downward here, and then this would go a little bit further back, I believe, in perspective. You know what I mean? That's just what I'm seeing right now. And then it would be a follow-up over here. Perspective would be a definite issue as well within this thing. Your perspective's pretty good, but I just think it's a little off in that case, especially since we're looking at kind of the front of it. You know what I mean? The only reason I'm saying we're looking at the kind of the front of it is because we can see this side of the boat. If you just saw that left side, it'd be different, But see, you kind of have that. You kind of structure it out first, and then you throw the cool detail on top of it. You know what I mean? I think you're starting with the detail first in a way, at least on this left side. And I would say look at like the sand looks a little odd as well, but it could be stylish. But yeah, I would figure out another way to do the sand. Let me look at the sand real quick. Crawl in from the side of the screen. This is just a style thing, totally. I like to see it crawl in, like the little imperfections in the sand, however you want to do that. You know what I mean? I don't know if you want to just put little dots. I like to have them crawl in from the side. Like even maybe this side as well. You know what I mean? Maybe from the bottom. And then have kind of like that central focal point over here, which would be the ship. You know what I mean? It's kind of like these little ripples in the sand. They'll kind of guide you up to this thing in a way. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to look over here. You don't want the audience looking over here. You know what I mean? This is just like repetitive shapes, like some dark shapes. You want them to look right here. So that's what I'll kind of do. I'll make it crawl in. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Good job, man. James Croft. This is a picture. I'm assuming it's off the same picture. Either this is off my video or this is off a photo that's, a picture, it's pretty much off my video. But I don't think so, because I think I drew one eye on mine, right? Didn't I screw that one up or something? Great. Really good stuff. I only have one thing to say about this. This is really good. Okay, actually, I got a couple things to say about it. James, let's see. Auto tone. Okay, eyes are great. This is cool. I would say make sure you see that ear in there. You know what I mean? Like, remember your anatomy? Like from human anatomy? His ear is under there. You know what I mean? See how that, like, he looks like he has a sliver of an jaw forward a little bit. Put that ear shape and then move on and do your thing over here on this side. One thing, I think his jaw's way too big. Just way too big, at least for my taste, I would cut it down a little bit. See how big that was before? And then make sure this thing, see how this thing straps around his arm over here? See that? Make sure this thing is literally wrapping around his shoulder. So you got to imagine this thing on his shoulder, and it has a thickness on it, Like, what direction would these lines go in if they were laying on top of a shoulder, And I know just because you're reaching the end of the page, don't shortcut his shoulder. Just like let it run off. You know what I mean? Just completely let that run off. That's about it. Great stuff, man. This is based on a movie. What is it? Oh, Jason Goes to Hell. Huh. I can only comment on this as far as just the technical, like, you know, stuff with the coloring, maybe mostly with the value. I don't remember how the cover looks, and I don't want to look at it right now. I just want to look at this as an image on its own. I know it's a study of it, but I'm still curious. I would maybe put a little more structure into this alien face. Oopsie daisy, let me get black into there. It's looking a little cartoony. Oopsie. What's up with my computer? What the? Let me see this. One moment, technical difficulties. Okay. This eyelid wraps around that. See how those kind of are folds stacking on each other? And I think it kind of made it look like a flat surface that was painted on. You know what I mean? And again, it might just be like that on the cover. So that's what I would change personally when you're talking about like creature design. You know what I mean? I'll just throw some more kind of structured in that area. Other than that, pretty good. Really good, man. Really good study. I don't know how it was on the cover. I'm sure on the cover it was just like this. I would throw a darker value behind this guy because he's coming forward at the camera. You know, this kind of snake thing, whatever the hell it is. Whatever it is. Throw some value, like some darker value. So that this, oopsie. So that this pops forward. This guy needs to pop front. And I think the way to do that would be, see how I squint and it kind of looks like the same layer? And if I keep squinted, that kind of separates it out. This separation is good for something coming at you, you know? Anyway, that's about it for that cover. Let's see. Sorry I'm taking so long, guys. Let me see. I definitely critique this one. Ooh, interesting. Red hood. Really dark image. All right, I'm going to have to auto-correct it. The color, I mean. So, excuse again the quality. Just in general, and again, this might be the way that you photographed it. Watch your lines right here, and I know that's a very like first thing to say thing. See how squiggly the line on his jacket is? It kind of doesn't have a lot of form to it. You know what I mean? And it looks like you're not really sure what to do here in this area. It looks kind of squiggly. I would look into drawing coats on their own, and they have a structure of their own, even though it is kind of a little bit more of a fluid structure. You know, they kind of pull down by gravity. Look at the way, and not just fold in general, but look at the way, you know, essentially like jackets and things like this sort kind of act, and where they're sewn together. They tend to be sewn together around the upper portion of the arm. The thing is, the cloth, especially jackets, have this kind of stiffness to them. You know what I mean? So just kind of keep that in mind. Something on this other end. Kind of learn the structure of how they kind of fold. Because clothing has a massive, you know, definitely has a structure to it as well. Really, I think the issues in the clothing. Your lines in general. I know that the lines tend to get a little hairy when, I mean, see how they're so much straighter on the head. You're more sure on what to do on the head than you are with, you know, the jacket. You know, which is why like things get hairy when you're not totally sure. So that's kind of it, I think, on this one. Next, J as well. All right, this one's definitely an anatomy issue. Let me go here and go here. Mostly in his arm. You don't be afraid to block his face. You know what I mean? That's gonna, if that's just what happens, it happens. But we don't have to block his face. His deltoid, it looks like it's attaching in a little bit of a strange area. Remember that elbow's here, elbow's in this area. You got the tricep, which has this horseshoe shape. It goes to the lat. comes out here, this bump. Almost this entire thing is really just an anatomy thing. Make his wrist a little bit smaller as it tapers down. Seeing kind of the rear, what is that? The side of the bicep kind of in a way, not so much of the muscly part. But I would say definitely it's an anatomy thing. But pretty good job, man. I dig the whole thing overall. You're shortcutting him on neck, give him some neck, or at least make his face a little wider. It's getting a little hairy over here. Watch the lines. Make his belt pop out a little bit more. His belt is wider than his waist. And he's got the little Batman underoos kind of thing. But he's got that waist section, that pelvis is there, you know. Teardrop shape for that vastus internus area. Or medialis or whatever. I don't know, everybody's going to jump on me for the names, but his knee goes back down. His kind of structure that out a little bit more by learning, and honestly, a lot of that is going to be by learning the skeleton and where the landmarks are. You know what I mean? I have a enzyme art video. Check out enzyme art, and I talk about landmarks in a video there. I forget. I think it's the dinosaur video, but it applies to this. So look at the landmark stuff. His leg is on this side as well. It's a little small. It's a little bit small. Make it thicken it out a little bit. You'll see the kind of minor changes. I mean, it's minor, but it starts to compile up. Mostly, the big issue is his waist. His waist is just, you did it way too small, you know. Yeah, the belt looks like it's squeezing the life out of him, you know. That's about it for this one. Good job. J. Is there another J? Oh, I think we definitely critiqued that one, I think. Don't see what that is. Wow, are we like getting to the end here? No, there's a bunch. Well, the rest of these are going to have to wait for the next extravaganza. I'll put it up probably in a week. You know what I mean? I'm going to go through the rest. But if you guys want to send anything, remember, go to Easy Things to Draw. Where is this? There. Send in stuff to omegaman20@gmail.com. Send it in. Title it, you know what I mean? So I know what it is. And put your name on it so I can say what your name is. And that's kind of it. Try to take bigger pictures too. You know, decent resolution. But if you can't, I get it. It's not a big deal. If you just took it in your phone, I understand. That's about it. Thanks a lot, guys. And if you like this, the way I did this, so there are more. Let me know if you like it. If you don't like it, let me know too. Okay, I'm gonna try to. I almost want to have like community segment. You know, it's gonna be very talk to the audience style. You know, because I'm looking right at your guys' stuff. So, anyways, send stuff in. Talk to you later.